Did you know that George Lucas actually created films before Star Wars was ever popular? Yeah, I didn't know that either, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. Okay, so whenever I first started recording videos, I had no clue what equipment I was really going to need, but what I did know is that audio was certainly crucial and important. One of the first things that I did is I went and I spent as much money as I could on like one of the top quality mics that I could get. I did this whenever the market was really starting to grow and change and evolve. And I had purchased this circa 2020. And what I didn't know is that the market was evolving faster than anybody could realistically keep up with it. In my opinion, now that I have some hindsight on it, I see that there was two differences. There was people who had been doing film and cinematography for a very long time, and then there was a whole mass of people who were getting into it for the very first time. I would put myself somewhere closer to the first time. I had dabbled with it a little bit. I first started my journey in cinematography like anybody else. I hopped onto Amazon and I went and I looked up all the cool products. Everything started turning out to be like $200 to $500 for the smallest piece of equipment. What I didn't understand is you had to have a real functional meaning of how you were going to use the products, whether it was a microphone, a camera, some sort of camera stand, a clip to go on this stand, an adjuster for this thing, a bracket for the next thing. So after all that, I found myself at a little bit of a crossroads, and I had to ask myself, is my time really being used efficiently if I'm trying to learn new editing software, learn all the new camera equipment, learn how to operate a camera, college for advertising, and picking up real estate and banking? And I really kind of had to wrestle with this idea, and it took me some couple months to just get in deep and really study what it is I was working on. And I think I'm taking it one step further this year, thankfully. My goal with that is investing in the right equipment. I think that is bar none like the most important thing that you can do whenever you're starting out early, whether it's, in a professional career or just doing this as a hobby. Just really taking the time to understand what are the focal points of the industry that you're maneuvering and figuring out how to navigate those and really captivate people when you're working in it. And today, my question that I really had to answer is the Lark C1 a good beginner mic? So if you didn't know, I've been using the Lark audio for the entirety of this video. For the testing of this microphone, I didn't want to get too crazy. I just wanted to have something that was cut and dry that pretty much anybody could do at their house. So here's my little mock studio library. Very simple. I mean, you can build a library if your closet is big enough, and you'll be able to get pretty much the same sound results out of this. And though I didn't really want to push the entire audio side of it, I really wanted to look at it from the product side of what is the Lark bringing to the table. Here are the important things that the Lark C1 brings to the table. Not only do you get an 8-hour lifespan for each lavalier microphone, you also get a compact, durable, and rechargeable case. During the production of this video has probably been the easiest production that I've set up ever. Got to go in, I've already shot all my B-roll. I got to spend 15 minutes doing that. And then now I'm in the other end of the studio. I've got everything set up. My audio's rolling, it's syncing directly to the phone. So I don't have to go back in and play with lining up any audio or any of that mess, because that can be very tedious and time consuming when you're jumping from a 4K camera to doing a regular desktop mic and recording it that way. In my honest, truthful opinion, I think this Lark C1 is really going to change the way that I'm able to operate as far as our pre-production and post-production is concerned, because I think this is just the hands down easiest thing that I've ever used in terms of pretty much anything in the filming field. I mean, it was just so cut and dry. Once you take it out of the box, you get the nice small little compact pouch. You open it up, of course you get your complimentary C cable. There's a couple dead cats in there, and then you've got the small little microphone set, and you're left with the small black charging case and the lav mics that are in there. And it really is just a simple plug and play. You take it out, you put it straight directly into the slot of the phone, and you can even set up the application. I learned that you don't even have to set up the app. You can just run it natively off the phone. You don't need any integration with it. However, the app is going to give you some more functionality and some more tools, and I'll go into that probably on another video. Okay, so I know at the beginning of the video I mentioned George Lucas and that he had created multiple films prior to Star Wars. And I think this is a very key piece of information to share with people, because in all of my journey of putting together videos and post-production and pre-production and figuring all these things out, the one thing that I had forgot was you just have to take it one step at a time, and you have to be patient. The biggest thing that I've learned throughout this process between when I first started and now today that I'm messing with a product review is you have to take time to really reflect on the things that you're using and figuring out better ways to use them. And you have to be practical with what you're doing. Patience is really going to pay off. When they say patience is a virtue, I look at it like this. If George Lucas had multiple films before Star Wars was ever big, I couldn't imagine if he had just stopped at film number 2 and said, well, that's it. They didn't really take off. I'm done. I'm gonna hang up the hat. No, instead he brought us Star Wars, which is the craziest movie franchise that now Disney World has built around it and bought out the IP for it. It's fascinating, really, when you stop and think. My advice to you today is be like George Lucas. Make your first couple of films. If they don't take off, you just have to keep going until you find the right spot that everybody says, hey, yeah, now you've got something. Because eventually you'll start having fun with it. And once you start having fun, well, the options are limitless.